And good night, and welcome to the Jackson Christian Football Recap Show. We're here at Hub City Deli on Pleasant Plains Extended, home of some of the greatest sandwiches. And I've got to say this before I get into the show really good. Gage Boykin and Jaylen Mosley come in here. They grab their sandwiches. And, of course, I can't eat until after the show is over. I'd love to beforehand, but it just works better when I do. And, Lord, in the good smells and stuff like that, we got people out on the patio. Wayne Alexander was in here that used to coach a lot in this county with the Jackson-Madison County school system. Had a good crowd. We had people come in and out. You can come down here and see this, but what a setup. Of course, co-hosting with me tonight is always the fabulous one himself. He could be a wrestler if he wanted to, but he's a better hitter in baseball and a great football coach, Brian Bullard. And, folks, I've been promising you for weeks, Mr. Stats himself. Finally, did you have to hold a gun on him? Greg Armour is here, Brian.
Coach, you know we didn't have to hold a gun to him. He was ready and willing to be on the show tonight. So
I know.
We're excited to have Coach Greg with us.
He is a dandy. And matter of fact, let's go ahead and between the two of us, introduce him properly. There's not a job. He's kind of like Walker Ray is. I call Walker the Swiss Army knife. Well, this is the older Swiss Army knife. There's not a job at Jackson Christian he can't do. If you need him to teach class, he'd do that. If you want him to keep stats, he does coach middle school football, and that is very important because we had a very fine middle school team. Now, I know you know other things that Greg does. He helps with every sport there. But it's good to have a Swiss Army knife on the staff, isn't it?
It really is. In my first, 7 years, he was part-time, if you can call it that. So we didn't have him around all the time, but he would come to practice when he could, and then every Friday night, Saturday, taking care of things. And he's retired now, but he's not really retired because he's with us every day. He paints the soccer fields. He takes care of a lot of things around there, laundry, cleaning, whatever it looks like. Coach Greg's going to do it. And then, obviously for a long time he's been doing the stats and doing a great job with that. He makes a coach's job easy when we can walk out on the field, grab a headset, and start coaching. That doesn't happen in a lot of places.
It really does.
And we got a good staff, and he's got guys that help him, Coach Ray and Coach McLean and some of those guys that are kind of behind the scenes that we can just walk out there. Coaches can go up top and just grab a headset and be ready to coach football. And we are very blessed and fortunate to have him.
Absolutely. And Coach Bullard's wearing the shirts I love. It says family on it. And, folks, and we know we've got people that don't have their children in Jackson Christian School, but these gentlemen and the others that you just mentioned, and also including Coach Todd Lumley, and the faculty and staff there, this is the reason you want to be at Jackson Christian School. It's not just about – now, football, is important. So is our girls' soccer and all our other sports. But having people like Greg, these are the kind you want your young men and young women around, and we've just got a good school. And I didn't go there. I was a public school product, but Brian and them, if you want to ask them off air, sometimes they'll tell you I'm very partial to Jackson Christian School. I love it there. Greg, how long have you been in athletics? It's your turn to go be met up close and personal for a minute.
This year is 34 years, Joe.
34 years. There are coaches that definitely don't last that long places. You seem to have a love. Do you really love keeping stats?
I love keeping stats. Love the kids.
Absolutely. Now, but where'd you go to high school? People want to know things like that.
I went to high school at Chester County.
Chester County, not a bad place. Matter of fact, I got a lot of good friends actually down there, and some good people. What brought you to Jackson Christian School?
My daughter started here in the 5th grade, and then my best friend, sons was in the middle school, and the coach asked him if he knew anybody could keep stats, and Tim turned to me and said, "Hey, would you like to keep stats?" So I started in '87.
Wow, that's impressive. And at that point in time, Jackson Christian's football program was not very old, because I can remember when they got started, did play in a bowl game under the old setup before the playoffs are organized. The playoffs were going on, but went through several coaches, and then you've seen the tough times of the beginnings. You've also seen it's paid off, and we've got a bunch of playoff appearances and the only school to win a football state championship after the playoff system.
That's correct. In '92, we won the Lion Sight Ball over at Northside.
Oh, man, put on a really good performance because you played a team that was bigger, had more people to choose from. You were totally outmanned, and y'all really did a great job that night. And what other fond memories do you have over the years of the football and the other programs too?
Well, I guess my fondest memory is the state championship up at Middle Tennessee when we won it in 2006.
Now, that was a great performance. I believe y'all also set a record for intercepting passes in the state championship game that day.
We had 5 interceptions that night.
And this man could tell you, as a matter of fact, he probably got the stat book still, could go back and look it up and tell you what everybody did. Now, did Clay Fowler play on that team? I knew he was around that time. He hadn't graduated, had he?
Yes, Clay played.
Matter of fact, he may have been the quarterback on that team.
Clay was the quarterback.
Yeah.
And backup quarterback was Matt Hudson.
Matt Hudson.
And did Matt come in that game?
Matt come in that game in the last Clay tweaked his ankle in the last series in the fourth quarter, and Matt come in and handled the offense just really great.
I'm going to challenge our listeners, especially you Jackson Christian fans that's listening. 2 things. Number 1, see Greg Armour, thank him. Number 2, pin him down and make him go over history of the program with you because he has seen it just about all, and he can tell you things. I may remember little things like Clay played, and I had to get it straight in my mind which years and things like that. This man has been through all of them, and we've had some great ones, including we've had a signee with the University of Tennessee before, but we've had a lot of them. We're fixing to have probably at least one, if not more, signees from this year's senior class, and I know he got another offer the other day, and I'll go ahead and mention it. I can keep up with Tackers a little easier because I twist his grandfather's arm and make him tell me what's happening. And Bill does a good job of that. But we've got some other young people, but we've got a young squad this year, and I've kind of gotten off base. Greg, I'm going to give you a second to say anything you want to. There's a lot of good fans and also non-fans of our school listening right now.
Well, Jackson Christian's a great school, and I just thank them for the opportunity to keep stats for this school and to be around their young athletes. We've got a good group of young athletes this year, and we've had some over the last 34 years.
Absolutely, and of course, we've got 2 of the fine athletes we're going to talk to here in a few minutes anyway. Coach Bullard, let's go back, and of course, Brian kept the stats on it, and he is always on at halftime if he can be. Sometimes we broadcast, especially on the road, from some unusual circumstances. The situation at Tipton Rosemark worked out a little better, although this man kept stats greatly with not the best vantage point in the world. He had to shift around a couple of times and do some things. 42-7, a big win. We needed that one to get back on track. We did a lot of things right in that game. Obviously, the rain poured. We had a lightning delay, this, that, and the other. And I'm not going to fuss about fumbles. No, I'm one of those guys. Typical coach. I want to play a perfect game, which isn't going to happen. You're going to have a mistake. You just don't want to make them in situations that hurt you. And unfortunately, the only score they got was their potential, although don't know if he'll make it. He was leading. You do know he's leading Shelby County in pass receiving. Bird was.
I didn't know that. That's impressive.
He was in the top 10 in a couple of other statistical categories, and that's public and private together in Shelby County. He did have their one touchdown on a fumble, rip-away fumble, whatever you want to call it. And but you know what? We gave good chase. We didn't catch him, but we gave good chase because that guy's quicker than a hiccup. And
he has some speed.
Yeah, and he can cut on a dime and leave 9 cents change sometimes.
Absolutely.
But tell us about that victory and who played well and some things like that.
So we were getting ready to go out, and we get word that we're going to have a lightning delay, which was kind of out of nowhere. We thought the forecast was looking good for all that stuff to move out. And you worry about a player's focus and their mindset when something like that happens. And we came out and scored, and but then it took us a little while to get going, took a little while to get our footing, but we had some guys step up. Cam Boyd, I think, had 4 touchdowns in the game. Jay Mosley returned a punt for a touchdown. Gage, who we'll talk to here in a little bit, had added a score running, and we were really able to pull away and get some guys some much-needed experience. And it's always good to get some of those younger guys in and give them a chance. So wet field, muddy field, wet ball. Overall, Coach, I thought we did a good job taking care of the football. We took it away from them a couple times, and overall a solid performance. I mean, a lot of things we could do better, but that's going to be every week. We're never going to be satisfied, but it was a good night for us, and leading into fall break.
It really was. We needed that going into fall break, and we've had a week off. A couple of things, you're right. Cam was 4 touchdowns. He had 18 carries for 180 yards. He averaged 10.
Mm-hmm.
But check out Campbell Scott, only 10 carries. He had 100 yards. He also averaged 10 yards a carry. That's unusual to have two young men get in triple digits with their yardage and both average 10 yards a carry.
Absolutely, and they'll tell you too. That's a testament to our guys blocking up front. A couple times though, they kind of had to do some things on their own and made some plays, and we feel good about those two guys getting the football, along with 23 getting the football as well.
Well, Jaylen always has overall yardage because we use him a whole lot, and I believe Walker had really one outstanding catch. A wet ball,
yeah.
It's raining pretty hard,
yep.
and he's got hands normally like glue, and he does that in baseball too. You
Absolutely.
get to coach him in that. Zach Cisco keeps rolling.
Yeah, he's still we don't want to talk too much about
Yeah.
not that. You know what I'm talking
It's
about.
like throwing
Yeah.
a no-hitter.
You don't like talking about it, but Zach is a young guy doing a tremendous job for us, and there's a lot to be said for that part of that aspect of football, and it's definitely something we can't take for granted.
We're going to talk twice about this young man, but and we'll keep something held back, which you will award a little later. But a guy – actually, there's two guys. You don't always hear a lot about them. Yeah, you'll hear us say this one returned a kickoff or he made this tackle. And then there's another young man. He blocks, he blocks, he blocks. He plays outside linebacker. He hits people. He's very quiet. But Zach McDonald and Wyatt Jones, and I believe Wyatt was with us. Yeah, the last time we had the show, we took off for the week. But those two young men are contributing a whole lot. You just don't hear their names a whole lot.
And quietly they do. And they're not quiet kids, but on the field they just do what they're coached to do. And it's nice to have those guys that you can count on, and you know that they're gonna give it's not always gonna be perfect, but they're gonna give everything they can to execute the plan and to contribute to our defense. And we will talk about one of those guys a little more in depth later on.
Absolutely, Greg. You have to keep the stats, and sometimes, folks, he does a great job because conditions at home are much easier to keep stats than they are sometimes on the road. But you see some of those guys. Who are some of the young sung ones? Yeah, we know about Caleb. We know about Tacker. But offensively or defensively, he keeps the stats, and he sees the little things that these guys do. Give us a couple of names of some folks that contribute.
Carson McKee.
Oh, yes.
Is one of them that, on the line that does a tremendous job. He just – and Cedric Anderson.
Cedric, yes. And those are two young men, and sometimes we forget them. And, folks, these young men like pats on the back. Please go by, pat them on the back every once in a while and tell them, hey, we appreciate you giving us our all. And, that's something, even when we've gotten beaten this year, Coach, we have not quit. Either one of you want to comment on that, you're welcome to it. We've not quit. We fought to the last second.
It's just a will to keep getting better, and that's what you have to have. And you can't point fingers, you can't talk. You just gotta keep getting better. You gotta keep fighting, and that's what builds towards the season. It's about the process. It's not necessarily about that game, that moment. It's turning those moments into something bigger for your team, and that's what we preach, and that's what these guys are about. And you don't see a lot of negative body language. If you fumble, if you haven't missed a tackle, you have teammates picking them up, and that's huge. That goes a long way, and that can sometimes separate the good teams from the average teams to the bad teams. And so we're blessed to have these guys and their will to just keep going. And it's going to help them here, but it's going to help them even more in life, and that's mainly the thing we're trying to do for these kids. Absolutely.
This is homecoming week, and coaches, a lot of fun activities, but we got to focus on Friday night too.
Yeah, it's a week that can be distracting, and you want kids to be kids and enjoy their time, especially the seniors at your last homecoming. But at the end of the day, those people are going to come out to watch that football game on Friday, and that's what's going to go down in the record book. And so that we want them to have fun. We want them to keep that stuff in perspective. But when it's time to lock it in on Friday afternoon after school's over, after that pep rally's over, let's get focused and let's take care of the job at hand. And I don't have any doubt these kids will do that.
I think they'll be focused on that too. We're going to carry the homecoming festivities. Matter of fact, we'll probably take the air at 6:20. They will bring the royalty out, crown the queen, and do all the ceremonies at about 6:30, and we'll have that live on the stream. It'll be on Jackson Christian School Facebook, the Booster Club Facebook, BallGame, Blitz, Worthy Road Studios, of course, their cameras, their camera people doing a great job. You can hear it. Just hear it. You can't see it on 93.1, but you can hear, and they'll take it as early as we do usually. And then the 1015, or actually it's WNWS.com, will also have the pictures of it too to see. Now, big announcement, because Powder Puff football is important. Who won the ball game?
The seniors ended up winning the Powder Puff game on Sunday night, and we've kind of started doing that the last couple of years. Used to do it on a Friday. And added another element to Friday, but now we've done a devotional and had some speaker come talk to the kids. That gets more parents there, makes it more of a family type atmosphere, and that took place this past Sunday. And so that kind of kicks off our week. So I don't know a lot of places that do that, and it's kind of unique for Jackson Christian, and we enjoy that. The coaches get out there and officiate, and our players coach them and kind of see what it's like to be on the other side of that. So overall, it's a neat experience for the juniors and seniors.
I want to know who officiated. I didn't get to come out and say anything about the officials.
Coach Phillips, Coach Palmer, Coach Reichard. I was out of town, but usually it's 4 or 5 of us out there officiating.
Did y'all put striped shirts and everything?
No, we didn't do that. But had the whistles and all that. So that game sometimes gets a little physical now. It is.
Oh yeah,
it's intense.
They are those girls serious because they feel like sometimes they don't get to play football.
Absolutely.
So they get after it with each other. And Greg, would you have wanted to officiate that game?
No way. I stayed up and helped in the press box on the clock.
And a couple of quick things that I'm going to mention twice, too. Coach Palmer's win over Tipton Rosemark was his 26th win, which moves him into 4th place all-time in the school history. And we've had some very illustrious coaches there I won't go through. But recently, you remember Coach Cohue, you remember when Brian Stewart was there. And that puts Coach Palmer, who's one of the nicest young men, and I can say that because he's a lot younger than I am. But his parents, of course, I think listen or watch every ball game if they're not here. And they're good people. And we appreciate that, and congratulations to him because that's a milestone. Mm-hmm. Let's hope, though, that one night we can announce him having 126 wins instead of his 26th one. And, of course, when we come back, we'll talk about some more stats and things like that. And Greg, I just got a text question. Somebody wants to know, what's the most important stat that you keep up with? Now, that's an interesting question of all, and he has to keep everything. Which one do you think is the most important?
Well, the most important stats are the offensive stats, the passing, rushing, because, that puts a score on the scoreboard. But also the defensive stats. If you don't have tackles, then you don't stop the other team.
That's right.
So both offensive and defensive stats are both important.
Absolutely. And when we come back with the coaches, we're about to take time out and start with the players, and we've got 2 good ones. You've got 2 difference makers. You got the quarterback, the trigger man, and Gage Boykin, but you've got an outstanding young runner over here who he's a very nice young man. He can run with it. He can catch it and run with it. He can field punts, kickoffs. They're even kicking away from him now. He plays a pretty mean safety on defense, too. He can cover a lot of ground, tackle a lot of people. And I don't think he mixes the Gatorade up, though. That's the one thing he doesn't do, and we'll ask him about that. He's just a freshman. You'll enjoy Jaylen Mosley. And I'm going to tease now. Grant's outside right now. Gage's dad. Used to be that Gage was Grant's son. Now Grant is Gage's father, and you bring up Gage first. But we're going to take a 2-minute timeout, come back with our young men in the next 2 segments, and then we'll come back and finish up with the coaches. Information you'll want to know about FACS, also about the school. And we have the homecoming royalty, but we're going to hold it till the coaches come back. You are listening to the Jackson Christian Football Recap Show, and they are right here on Pleasant Plains Extended at the Hub City Deli, home of all those great craft sandwiches. But don't forget, they've got salads and all kinds of other things like that. And I love the show. Can't wait till it gets over so I can eat my food. We'll take that 2-minute timeout.
27 years ago, a vision became a reality and Snookum Steakhouse officially opened. We cut our steaks in-house and our ribeyes are full of flavor. The steak trimmings are used to make our certified Angus beef steak burgers, so when you order at Snookum's, you are getting high quality. Enjoy our salad bar and mini dessert. Also try our famous family recipe, the Pink Lush Fruit Salad. Come visit Snookum Steakhouse in Henderson, Tennessee. We are open evenings Tuesday through Saturday but closed Sunday and Monday. Snookum Steakhouse, come taste the difference.
Great American Sports, make sports an addiction. Located at 125B Old Hickory Boulevard, East in Jackson. We specialize in team sports for youth leagues, schools, and churches. We can embroider and screen print team uniforms. We also have sports equipment, Under Armour and Adidas clothing, and anything else you need for your team sports. You can email or call us for all your team sports needs. Great American Sports, make sports an addiction.
This could be a true story. On October 3rd, a 2003 hatchback struck and killed a deer that goes by the name Buck. I know, right? He now has Buck's head proudly displayed on his living room wall. He tells a different story.
Shot it.
No, he didn't.
And to hide his lie, he took his car to Mitchell's Body Shop.
No, I didn't.
Yes, he did. And lucky for him, they made it look good as new. And as for Buck, the story continues.
Hello folks, this is Gary Deaton, right here at Deaton's Carpet One. I want to let you know we've been in business for 48 years. Here's what I believe has made the difference. Our lifetime labor warranty on everything we install. Our healthy living installations, bacteria and germs cannot survive in our new flooring. Our beautiful guarantee, if you don't just love it, we'll replace it. It will make your flooring experience priceless. We're located on Freedom Highway, 1000 Highway 45 bypass in good old Jackson, Tennessee.
Back on the Jackson Christian Football Recap Show. Coach Brian Bullard and I hosting it. This is Coach Joe Holloway, and we're going to turn it over to Coach Bullard as he has our first guest.
Coach, we got Gage Boykin with us tonight, junior, our quarterback, and just a little bit of numbers for him. Almost 600 passing yards on the season, 6 total touchdowns, and if you've watched us, he's getting better every week, and he's learning, he's growing. He hasn't played a ton of snaps, and so this is his first official year of full year of high school varsity football, and he's asked to do a lot of things. He's asked to bring a lot of guys in motion. We have pretty extensive verbiage on our play calls, and he's just getting better, and I think that he's got some guys around him, some weapons around him that help him out, and I think you're going to continue to see Gage grow and learn and mature as a quarterback, and we're happy to have him with us tonight on the show.
We are happy to have him with us, and I've known Gage since he was much younger. We won't call him little because he was taller than I when he was younger, and used to be known as Grant Boykin's son. Now he's known as Gage's dad. So, Gage, you've turned that's a marker in a young man's life when the father becomes known as that instead of you being his son. I'm going to start out a little different line with you. Your dad's been a lot of help, hasn't he, in getting through sports and things like that?
Oh, yeah.
How many camps has he sent you to? And we're giving he's cold on these questions because he didn't know ahead of time. We don't prompt these young men.
9 or 10.
9
maybe.
or 10. And that folks, let me tell you something. You have to love your young man to do that. Now let's go back to. So I want people to know how much you put in, and that's a start. Now, I know you're having fun because you got a fun set of coaches to work with, and the communication seems to be good because we signal the plays in from the sideline, and even with signals there could be miscommunication. I've seen less communication this year than I've seen in quite a while. And matter of fact, maybe we missed on a couple of plays at most.
Yeah, we've had some signals crossed here and there, but for the most part, Gage does a good job, and we get the play in for him and just try to execute it.
And I had this was asked to me on Saturday's show on the text line, so that's the reason I brought it with me. Gage, how tough is it to pick up the signals? I mean, coaches looks like you're a baseball player sometimes over there and doing that, but is it pretty tough?
Some people might say it's tough. People like Jaylen or people on the line, they'll say it's tough. But me doing it for I don't know how long. I know at least 7 weeks, probably more because of summer, but it's pretty easy now. It's almost like another language that I know.
Well, that's because you got good teachers, too, and you're a smart young man. Let's back it up all the way. When did you start playing football?
When I was 5, probably.
5 years old. Now, Coach, your young man is 6 right now, right? Now, did he play before this year, or is this his first year?
No, it's his first year.
His first year. So you beat Coach Bullard's son by a year, but that's the right age to start. Learn the fundamentals and the basics. What other sports do you play besides football?
I play basketball, too.
Okay. I got a feeling that we need to ice this man's arm down. So he just looks like a guy that likes to throw those 3-pointers up there.
He's a shooter now.
He's
all
a shooter.
The time. That's my main one. That's my main shot.
Coach Kyle, you hear that? I think he already knows.
Yeah.
And anyway, getting back to the football, over the years you've come up through the ranks, played, I'm sure, flag or tag football. You got into tackle. Have you always been a quarterback?
Always.
Okay, from day one. What's the toughest thing that you had to learn as a young quarterback?
Probably having to get signals in. Even from middle school, we would have to get signals. It would be easier because we ran them in, but once I moved up to the high school level and really met with Coach P and went over all the stuff, and even with Aaron last year, getting with him, it was a whole different world. It's so different.
It really is. People don't realize these young men have to be smart. They have to work hard. Coaches have to do that. Coach is another word for teacher. A coach is a teacher of athletics. And Coach Bullard alluded to something else. Gage doesn't have a lot of game experience because last year we had a Mr. Football candidate playing, and we had enough close games that sometimes you couldn't get Gage on the field. Correct me if I'm wrong about that, Brian.
Well, with the move, Gage he had to sit out a year, and so he got to learn and sit behind Aaron and gain some good experience from a senior that had been through a lot of battles. And so it was a good year for Gage, and we knew coming into this year that he would challenge for that spot and hopefully take it. And so far that's what's happened. So
well, and it looks like his teammates have rallied around him and we're getting the leadership that we need. What about school? What subject do you like in school? You better not say lunch. He's grinning now, folks. I wish you – and you can. I forget we're on camera. I'm so used to doing radio. But I know you got a favorite subject.
It might be government or English. It's just a mixture because Coach Reichard's a really fun teacher, but so is Miss Baker.
Okay. Well, one of my questions usually is which – teacher is your favorite that's not a coach, so you like Miss Baker. Miss Baker gets frequent answers on
Absolutely.
here.
Well, she's just a really good teacher. She keeps people entertained.
What else do you like about school? Now, you're Jackson Christian. I wished I could be y'all's age again. I would, and fans really would go back and be a student at Jackson Christian. But what do you like about school?
There's a lot of things I like about school. I like being around my friends all day. Everybody basically at school is my friend, so I'm in classes with all my friends every single class. I really like athletics because we get to go outside to go down there. So we go outside down to the athletic area, and we go work out. And I get to work out with more of my friends and Coach Irv.
Yeah, Coach Irv and his weight program is getting legendary around here. People talk about we've got a nice facility down there. I wish my high school facility had been that
Me
nice. We dressed in the basement of a gym at one time, and that y'all have got it made. But you know what? It's fun to work with Coach Irv and all of that, things like that. And you said something that hits me. Y'all are a family, not just the football players, not just the basketball players, everybody. The young ladies at school, maybe they're not even cheerleaders, they're just academians. I've noticed that the kids at Jackson Christian School know each other, speak to each other, and treat each other with respect, and I like that. And that's not that way everywhere. And now, let's talk about food. What do you eat for lunch? What's your favorite thing to eat for lunch? And then we're going to let you pick a food outside of there that's your favorite.
At school?
At school, your favorite food to eat at school?
Probably Crispitos. That's what we had today, and that's by far the best.
A lot of young men and young ladies like those Crispitos. What about out of school? Are you a pizza guy, a steak guy?
Pizza, definitely. Steak, definitely.
As long as Grant's paying for it.
Oh yeah, anything as long as he's paying for it.
that makes it good. Now I've got to ask an unusual question. We hadn't been there because I know a few things about Gage. Are you a Green Bay Packer fan?
Heck no.
There are people in your family that are, though.
My uncle. I don't know why he likes them, but he does.
You know, and we call him Graham Cracker. We get texts from him all the time about the Green. What is your favorite team?
The Saints.
Okay,
sure. The New
Saints.
Saints.
I thought they would be, but I just had to ask and that's because of your uncle that you got asked that. Who are some of your sports heroes?
Drew Brees, Joe Montana, and right now Justin Herbert.
He is playing quite well.
Absolutely.
And what about people that, and I call them heroes because they've affected your life. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about locally, whether it's teachers, coaches, parents, etc. Who are some people that you really like to follow the way they do things?
My dad. My dad is always getting me to do stuff outside, always push me to go work out, do my jump ropes, and do my ladder drills. And he's always on me about what I eat and my diet and what I need to be putting in my body and what I drink. Like, I need to be drinking water. When I get a soda, I need to pour it out and go get a water. And him and probably Coach P.
Absolutely.
Coach P's the same way. Coach P's always pushing me, and he's always on me.
He still maintains leadership, but he does it in a friendly manner, doesn't he? He's really good. Now, I'm going to make you talk about one. Mom has a little influence, too. She's done a lot for you.
Oh, yeah, she does. She does. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry.
Well, moms are special, and yours is she is a teacher and an educator, too, so she knows. And sometimes when it comes down to a little extra study, Mom's always there, isn't she?
Yes, sir.
She's a good person for things like that. Now, if you don't play pro football, and I may be jumping the thing and saying the wrong stuff, what do you want to do after you graduate from college and high school?
An automotive engineer. I'm really interested in cars. I probably know everything there is to know about cars. That's what I liked to do when I was little. I would always be collecting Hot Wheels, looking up stuff about different cars, what makes them move, all that.
And, folks, he's not joking you. He can tell you anything about the internal combustion engine that you want to know.
He was asking me if I saw some car in the parking lot. I said, Gage, I didn't. But he was showing me that earlier. So
very observant. Of course, good quarterbacks. What's the most fun thing about practice? What drill do you like to do? And you don't – I'm going to preface this because he doesn't hit people like the others have to.
They don't let me anymore.
They don't let you hit anybody anymore?
Well, when I was on scout team last year, they would call us what would they call us? The scout team All-Americans, where you just go all out even though the starters aren't. and you're kind of like making fun of them, running
Well,
all
I'd
over
rather be
them.
called that. We were called the Red Hats and the Dog Crew, and the Dog Crew that didn't set too well. Coach, explain to the listeners why Gage doesn't get hit now.
Well, we try to keep our quarterbacks healthy. Sometimes it's hard to and we do have a capable backup. Walker is a capable backup for us, but you want to keep those guys upright with them taking hits in the game and being full contact. You want to limit that contact as much as possible. And, we had him live in the scrimmages in the preseason because he does run the football, so we want to see him get hit a little bit. But you don't want him taking unnecessary risk in practice. So that's why we keep him up and out of the contact usually.
Absolutely, and
We're
I don't
fortunate enough
want
to not have to-
Walker taken out of being a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Young man had in the catch he made after the like in the old Oski drill, the tip drill, the focus he had on you threw the ball hard enough that kid wasn't going to intercept it.
Yeah.
It got through. Walker concentrated perfectly on that thing, but you could move him to quarterback, but you also lose a valuable wideout with sticky hands.
Yep.
Too.
He's a big blocker too.
Yes, he is. He will. I wouldn't want to be hit by Walker, and he actually weighs less than I do. Yeah, Walker's a good guy. Now, what's your favorite Bible verse?
1 Corinthians 10:31. Whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do all to the glory of God.
Absolutely, that's a very good one. And assumption type stuff. You want to play college football, don't you? And he's working towards that, and he's playing for the right people to get him there. And about to forget to ask you your favorite sports movie.
Air Bud.
Air Bud. I like those. Actually, there's probably, I don't know whether Harper, that's my granddaughter's at home. She's listening, but she probably got a DVD stuck in the.
It's an old movie or older.
Do you know it's even on VHS? It's that old.
That's how I had
Dang.
it. Yeah, I remember that.
And it's your turn to say anything you want to the fans of Jackson Christian and the non-fans too. We got a big game coming up, but you don't have to talk about the game. It's your turn to talk to them.
I really don't have anything to say. I love you, Mom and Dad.
That's a good thing. Well, I know one thing you want to say, you just didn't say. You want people to come watch y'all play Friday night.
For sure.
Because
Yes.
we're gonna get after them and give them the effort, aren't we?
All the time, every game.
Absolutely. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout, and when we come back, I'm not going to get in any foot races with him, and it may take the 2 minutes because he just took a call here.
Yep.
But we'll get Jaylen Mosley on here, and he will be a very articulate young man. Again, remind you, we're at Hub City Deli where they have the craft sandwiches, the wraps, the salads. I could go over all of those like my buddy that I broadcast radio with. If he doesn't get anything else, he gets the beef brisket. But there's more than beef brisket here. Got pork, and for a deli, they've got one of the best hamburgers in town right here, Hub City Deli, Pleasant Plains. Let's take that 2-minute timeout on Worthy Road Studios production.
Good job.
At Lonnie Cobb Ford, we now give you a warranty for life on the engine and transmission. That's right, a warranty for life at no cost to you. Unlimited time, unlimited mileage, but it's only at Lonnie Cobb Ford in Henderson, where cars really are cheaper in the country. Buying a car is all about you. In person, over the phone, or online, we make it simple and easy. Our place or yours, no matter where you live. LonnieCobbFord.com or Lonnie Cobb Ford in Henderson, where cars really are cheaper in the country.
Welcome to Man's Wrecker Service. We offer a wide array of services. We are dedicated towing professionals, experienced in both simple and complicated towing services. We offer light and heavy-duty off-road recovery, auto and heavy-duty towing, load shift and load transfer capabilities, and much more. We are equipped to handle any situation, no matter how big or how small. Call today at 731-424-2173.
We are a team composed of highly skilled physical therapists with new school treatment approaches and old school customer service principles. We are a community presence because we know our foundation rests in relationship building and involvement. We are leaders in this industry, and we're putting in time daily to develop that aspect of thinking. We're more than a business. We're a team composed of individuals governed by a set of core values. We're more than a physical therapy company. We're a movement in the profession. We are your premier physical therapy team in West Tennessee.
Southern Family Dentistry's dental laser technology is a game changer for those who experience dental anxiety. Just imagine, no more drills. Look at some of Dr. Nathan Nash's patient results. We provide a relaxing environment to ensure a pleasant visit every time. From a simple cleaning to a full dental reconstruction. And now, prepless veneers. We're there when you need us. Dr. Nathan Nash will treat your family just like he wants his family treated. Check them out on Facebook to see all those loving smiles. Call 300-4545. Southern Family Dentistry, we want to make you smile.
And we are back for the second player segment. We'll have one more segment to go with Coach Greg and Coach Bull. But, Coach, it's all yours to introduce, and I'm excited. I'm almost wanting to just sit over here and let you interview this young man.
So, Coach, we got Jaylen Mosley with us, our second guest tonight, a freshman. And I'm going to go through his stats, and it's a long stat line. Almost 200 yards rushing, 433 yards receiving, 6 total touchdowns, and 1,001 all-purpose yards. And Jay's a kid that we've been excited about coming up to varsity football for a long time. And he's grown, matured on the field, but he's grown, matured off the field. And he's going to be he already is, but a kid that you're going to have to scheme for. And you mentioned it earlier, kicking away from him and things like that. We hope to kick to him because every time he touches it, he has a chance to go. And he is he's a step ahead of people on the field and really figuring out the game. And we are very fortunate to have Jay with us tonight.
Okay, and we need to push your mic a little closer, Jaylen. And I'm glad to be able to talk to him. And, Coach, if you got some questions, because, like I said, in my mind –
He's been giving me a hard time, Coach. He said something about we brought the middle school quarterback on before him, and when we brought Mason on. I said, well, we're just trying to get everybody on. And so I told him his week was coming, and so this was a great week to have him. Had a great game against TRA and had a good half season so far.
Yeah, you weren't put on. Let me tell you something. We wanted those stats. Did you hear what he just read off? You wanted those stats given. And this is actually, he's a very modest and quiet young man, but we have a good time with him, watching him. The first thing is, how long have you been playing football?
I've played football my whole life.
Yeah, your whole life.
Yeah.
5th grade, 5 years old, 6 years old, you started?
I started playing football around
there you go.
I started playing football at 10 maybe.
10. Did you play tackle to start out with or flag first?
I started with flag.
Flag, and that's a good way to start. Not take some of those hits, although it gets a little rough in flag sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Now, did you learn your spin move when you were playing flag football? Because, a lot of flag football runners like to spin so you can't pull their flags.
Probably. I got my spin move from my dad.
And from your dad. Well, I want to talk about that and ask you how much ability. And off air, we talked about you've got to see some film of your dad run the football, right?
Yes, sir.
And for the folks that don't know, he's T.J. Mosley, who was a legend at Southside. And trust me, if Jimmy Butler could be here with me right now, Jimmy was covering the game I was telling you about at Milan, where he not only caught the pass, the Southside was behind. It was, I believe, the last play of the game. Jimmy needs to be here. And he not only broke tackles, ran like a deer down the sideline, but he got into the end zone with a cramp in his leg, which a lot of guys would just fall down. But your dad was, I see the same toughness in you. But now he had a few more pounds than you do. You fixing to get with Coach Irv and get those weights going?
I'm going to get right.
Okay. And what's your favorite thing about football practice? What drill do you like to do?
My favorite drill would probably be 7-on-7s, where we just –
You like catch those passes in practice too?
So,
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot. Which one do you like to play better, offense or defense? Now, they're going to play you on both, so don't read anything into what I'm asking.
I'd rather play offense.
You'd rather play offense. But you're such a good safety back there. You like being a free – well, I call it free safety. Y'all are probably in one high when you're deep like that. And Coach, that may not be y'all's terminology, but I know it is one high and two high.
Yes, sir.
Do you like being the only one back there and being able to roam the field?
Yeah, it's fun, They throw the ball and you just get to go up and get it, and yeah, it's fun though.
Coach, you got a question for me?
No, I was just going to kind of having a freshman in the back end of your secondary is a lot to ask of a young football player, and Jay kind of embraces those expectations, and he embraces that moment. And I know he likes having the ball in his hands and being in control there, but what he does in the back end and what he's learning, and not only is he's not just out there, he's getting guys lined up as well, and he knows his coverages, and he's only going to get better, and better reads and more experience, and all that stuff's going to just take him to the next level and take our defense to the next level as well.
And speaking of the next level, Jaylen, you do know that schools start to watch you. They don't contact you some, although when you wind up at one of their camps or something. And the recruiting's a little different now than it used to be. Where are some schools, because it's too early to pin one down. Now, you may have a favorite school, which is fine, but where are some places you'd like to play?
I've always liked Tennessee, so that would be my number one place to go. But I like LSU, Clemson. Yeah, that's really it. LSU.
Yeah. And he's been talking about Tennessee since I've known him, and that's even when he as a young. When did you come in the 6th grade? Is that when you came, Jackson Christian? Even from the 6th grade on, he's been talking about Tennessee and wanting to play there. And he's just a freshman, and the sky's the limit for him.
And I will give him some good news. So keep it up. I have a very good friend that I confide with, and he is a big UT fan. They do know you exist. Yes, they do. You won't hear from them. You wouldn't know it, but they do know that you are playing football and what you're doing. But I'd like you to put the University of Memphis on your list, too. I'm a Tiger fan. Even my wife now, she's probably ready to kill me because she's a UT fan, and she's a big UT fan. But that's another story. Okay, do you like the camaraderie with the guys you play with? Because to me, it's unique at Jackson Christian.
Yeah, coming from middle school to high school, it's not really – it's different, but it's not just – too much different to where I just don't know, but I've got used to it now.
You got used to it. There's a little change, and there's 5 young men that's I believe y'all brought up. They're getting used to it too right now. Are you giving them any help?
Yeah, I help them.
And I know he would, because they thought the world of you. I've talked to some of them sometimes, and they kind of looked up to you a little bit. And what's your favorite subject outside of football? That was my favorite subject.
Like in school?
Yeah, in school.
Math. I like math.
And with that, and you can't name a coach, but who's your favorite teacher or the one you like right now? Because that could change, because he's got 3 more years after this one.
I had to go with Miss Christensen, because she go out her way to help students with school and outside of school. Yeah, I had to go with Miss Christensen.
And there's a lot of fun things happening. Homecoming this week, but at Jackson Christian overall, your friends, but just being there that's a good thing, isn't it? It's a lot of good things to do.
Yes, sir.
And I know it's a fun school. Now, let's move on. We know you want to play. We've established college football. Would you like to play NFL football someday?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
What's your favorite team?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That's a good one to have, especially right now. They're doing pretty good since they've got Tom Terrific there, and there's the old tight end that kind of helps some right for them also. And they've got a good line, they've got good defense. But now, if let's say Jaylen just gets his degree from Jackson Christian, he gets his college degree, but he doesn't play football. Have you had any thoughts? And he is a freshman, folks, so he's got more time. In Gage's case, he was a junior, so he's got to be. What about the future? What would you like to do outside of athletics?
No, haven't really thought about that yet. But
and that's fine, because you're a young man. This is, in college, I think a lot of kids make a mistake trying to pick what they're going to be their freshman year. Do it all, take a general course and all that. Favorite food at school, and then your favorite food away from school.
At school, let's go. I say chicken tenders. Then outside of school, I love Chinese food.
Oh, man, you are a man after my heart. I didn't
know that about him. I'm learning something, too.
I am learning something here. And, of course, who are some of the heroes both, I know you got some sports heroes, but who are people also that have helped you on the local level at Jackson Christian or even your parents? Who are some of the folks that have been a big influence?
Have to be my mom, because she's, being a single mother, then she takes care of me, my brother, my sister, and she still make time to come to all my games. And whether it's football, basketball, track, or anything I do, she's always there. And she's always the loudest one, too. I always hear her. So it has to be my mom, probably.
She's a good lady. I'd like to interview her sometime. You think she'd come on radio?
Oh,
she could even come
she
on the
would.
Saturday show. We had Damari's mom and dad both. We learned a lot. Damari's dad was a great athlete at JCM. His mom was a cheerleader, which I didn't know. I knew about his dad. And maybe we'll get her on one time. How about that? Now, what about Bible verse? We always ask about the favorite Bible verse.
My favorite Bible verse is Psalms 23.
Psalms 23.
Yeah.
Now, are there, and this is one I should have asked Gage, but I didn't, but you got a favorite sports quote or something somebody said that has really inspired you in sports? And matter of fact, it doesn't even have to be in sports.
Nah, I don't think so.
You just play hard no matter what, right?
Just play football.
Favorite sports movie?
The Blind Side.
The Blind Side. That's a very good one. And the real Michael Orr is just as articulate as the young man that played him. Now, of course, that's a very interesting story and all of that, but it's one of those things that and it touches me when you kids mention that story, because I know a little more about it than Disney took liberties with it, but it's actually a better story than what Disney put out there. And now we have a tradition. And, Coach, you got any questions? Because I get to talking to him. You can see I'm leaning over here.
No, you are doing a great job.
And it's your turn to say anything to the Jackson Christian fans, the non-fans, and there's a lot of people listening, but they want to know about, is there something we haven't told them that they need to know about Jaylen Mosley, or anything like come to the game you want to say to them?
Not really. Just show it to the games, I'm not going to disappoint. We good.
That I like. Now, there's a confident young man. Now, one of these Saturdays, though, if I send Coach Bull the word, will you call me on the Saturday Sports Roundup, too?
Yes, sir.
Talk to
yes,
us?
Sir.
And
sir.
We want you to come see. Jaylen's worth the price of admission, but we have a lot of young men that are worth the price of admission. And you do appreciate those guys that block for you, too, don't you?
Oh, yes, sir.
There he is, one of the finest young men I know, very humble. And you'll be hearing him on this show for the next 3 years after this. And who knows, and now that we got all those stats built up, would you like to come back and do it again one night?
Yes,
we'll have a different set of questions the next time, but
right.
we're going to bring you back. Let's take that 2-minute timeout, come back to Hub City Deli. We'll have the coaches on here. We'll talk about FACS, homecoming, and wrap this show up.
Hello, I'm Wes Harris with State Farm Insurance. My customers love the fact that they can call me or my team members anytime. So when they're in an accident on the bypass with somebody that doesn't have insurance, or they come out of the grocery store and somebody's backed into their car and has not left a note, or they come home and there's a tree on the roof, or maybe water pouring out their front door, they call a local agent, somebody that they know. So call me, Wes Harris, with State Farm Insurance, located right here on Van Drive in Jackson.
Man, there's a new salon in Jackson, Race Clips, on South Highland, next door to Roland Safety and Supply. Whether it's a quick trim or a new look, Race Clips stylists can transform you to perfection. At Race Clips, you'll find all the products to keep you looking your best. Active duty military, veterans, and law enforcement officers receive a discount. Open Monday through Friday from 9 to 6, 9 to 3 on Saturday. Race Clips on South Highland, Jackson. Go to race-clips.com.
Football looks fun. I bet I would have been great at it. The first football playing Deer, they would have made a movie about me and everything. Probably get Kurt Russell to play me. But alas, me and my dreams run right over again.
For fast, reliable collision repair, trust the experts at Mitchell's Body Shop. And get back out there.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Wes Harris in Jackson today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We are back at Hub City Deli, home of the craft sandwiches, the best deli in town, salads. And, of course, this week the featured sandwich is the smoked Gouda melt, but now mine is the Piggy Sue. But it doesn't stay here every week. You got 2 grilled pork chops in that one, and it is a great sandwich to have. We are back with Coach Brian Bullard and, of course, Coach Greg Armour. And, Coach, first thing we need to do is announce the Southern Capital Player of the Week.
Yes, sir. Went defense this week or from TRA. Mr. Wyatt Jones, 7 tackles, forced fumble, and 2 fumble recoveries, and just played a big role in helping us get the ball back and get it back to our offense and put points on the board. Wyatt had a great game. I guess it would be 2 weeks ago now at Tipton Rosemark. And
he does it in such a quiet manner, but he will stroke you and hit you. He's kind of like Tacker Nash. He can be an unlicensed chiropractor, too. And I want to mention that Chance King had 6 tackles the other night, too. Greg gave me that stat the other, and that's good. That shows that Chance, who has had some injuries in the past, is coming back. Now let's move to homecoming, and both of you gentlemen are welcome to comment. Coach, your turn to tell us about the royalty.
Yes, sir. And these are voted on. We want to mention any students that we can mention on the show. It's a football show, but we want to showcase all of our kids at Jackson Christian, and there's so many activities and things going on. Our freshmen attendance, Tess Little, Isabella Manus, 10th grade, Kendall Turner, who actually Kendall's here with us, Eaton over there, and Abby Davis. 11th grade, Katie Alexander, Lauren Day, and then the seniors have 3, Libba Miller, Kylie Sawyer, and Ella Williams, and that'll be voted the homecoming queen will be announced on Friday before the game, and just a big week. And, we hope to have as many people come back and support us and support these kids and the band, and everybody's going to be there Friday. So we're really looking forward to a good night of football and also homecoming activities.
And ask your kids about it. They've had a fun week starting off with the Powder Puff game, but there's other things that happen, and everybody needs to show up in their blue and white. And let's support the Eagles really good and remind you that you can see the game. And if you miss those games, and they're archived, Worthy Road Studios archives every one of those games. They will be there until the second coming, unless YouTube goes out. But that's and that is a good thing. Very quickly, let's remind them that it was Darby's 26th win, 4th place now in the coaches. But I'm gonna let you or either Greg tell them about Cam Boyd, because Cam has kind of done a little bit of good stuff here. He's had a great season, but he's already making some marks. Greg.
Yes, he is. Cam has 13 rushing TDs, moves him into the top 5 in a single season rushing TDs. Record held by Adam Reagan with 27 TDs in 2001.
I remember when Adam played back in 2001. I also remember when Tacker's dad, Nathan, played, and we asked him Saturday on the Sports Roundup, who's faster, you or your dad? And he didn't even hesitate. He said, I'm faster. And Tacker has increased his speed.
To go along with that, Coach, I mean, we missed a game with Harding Academy that potentially would have got, there's no guarantees, but potentially a couple more scores on there, and I don't know Adam. Never didn't see him play. I've heard a lot of stories and a lot of things about Adam, but that's pretty good company to be. He's got a long ways to go, but just to be in the top 5 with some really good running backs at Jackson Christian in the single season, and that's just a testament to how hard Cam works and that offensive line and what they're doing for him, and looking forward to him finishing this year strong and seeing how close he can get to that number.
And add on to it each year, because he's still got time on his side too.
That's correct.
Now, in the case of Adam Reagan, he was a tough runner. He could cow trump you. And he also played linebacker, didn't he, Greg?
Yes, he did.
So he was one of those outstanding linebackers we've had over the years, and that's good to know. Now, our 2 guests tonight, of course, Coach told you about Gage Boykin, his 571 passing yards and 6 TDs. Jaylen Mosley, 195 yards rushing, 433 receiving, 6 TDs, 1,001 all-purpose yard. And that brings us to the point of this show. Not the end. We've got a couple more minutes. But this week we play FACS. and we're 3-7 all time against them, but we've won 3 out of the last 5 meetings with them, and we won in 2020 41-0. They've got a new head coach, so I don't know as much. Y'all have been looking at tape this week. I'm fixing to look at some. They've got a completely different ball club. Preston's with us now, and that's a good thing, and we just need him healthy, although Eli's doing a great job, and that means we'll have 2 good linemen. Coach, your turn to tell the folks what they need to look for when we play FACS.
It's a club that they have some athletes, and they have potential to make some big plays, and they've been up and down this year, and transitioning to new coaches is tough on the team, and they're figuring some things out, and we're really going to have to execute. We're really going to have to line up to some formations and get our defense aligned. Pre-snap and post-snap, just make plays. But it's definitely a game that we just have to come out and be us in. And if we come out and we do what we do, we run the ball with 3, 10, and 23, and then let Gage get him settled in, make his throws, and then we tackle on defense. We had a pretty good chance. And I would say for the most part, that's the game plan for us is to run the football. And let Gage take his shots when they're there, but also, our experienced linebackers. We want our D-line to swallow up blocks and let those 2 senior linebackers make plays for us, and it's been successful so far, and we have another opportunity to try to do that Friday night.
Tacker had 8 tackles, Chance 6. Wyatt, I believe, had 7.
Yes,
Y'all
that's
correct
correct.
me if
Yes,
I'm
sir.
wrong on that. I'd say the linebackers had a pretty good night, and you always got to watch our dog position. Caleb makes some things happen, and when you don't think he's going to get there, he gets there. And
he's got a motor on him, and he just keeps going. And that kid is the sky's the limit for him. He's a young player for us, and we're excited about that. But FACS, and that's the task at hand, and that's what we got to do.
Coach's final word. Greg, we'll give you your final word first.
I just want to invite everybody to come out to homecoming, the alumni as well. Come out and enjoy a great game, Jackson Christian against FACS.
Absolutely. Coach Bullard?
We appreciate the support we've had, and you can't do it alone, and you can't do it without the support of your cheerleaders, your band, your fans, your student section, all those things. And we would love to have that end zone full again, and put on a show for those people.
Absolutely. If you don't, we'll take the air if you can't get there, but I encourage you to be there. A lot of people watch the game on their phones and listen to Wesley and I, and they're still there in the stands cheering the Eagles on. We need to fill both sides up, even if we send people over to the other side to sit because we run out. Sit in that east end zone. I know that's where my good compadre Bill Hamilton and a lot of other people will be. Get out and support these fine young people. We got the best little band in America. Now, it's a small band, and it's growing each year, but it is very good. Our cheerleaders are great. Our student body. It's a great setting at Ronnie Fowler Stadium, and I want to encourage you to be there.
Coach, don't let me forget Hub City
and
them hosting us, and they take care of a meal for our guys, and that's huge. It's just it's not a big thing, but it's something that they do for us, and we enjoy being here, and that this is just wanted to thank them as well.
Well, what it is they're first class, just like their restaurant is, and they are interested in the young people of America. But like I said, just looking at the sandwich board, and I love to look at it. Folks, this is the deli Jackson hasn't had. You need to come down here. It's Pleasant Plains Extended. If you don't understand that, come off either Country Club Lane, or you can get off Van Drive and you're on Pleasant Plains, or you can come down Pleasant Plains from Oil Road. This is a place, and I'm like you, Coach. I am very thankful that they're here. And, of course, I'm thankful for my compadre, Paul Schultze, and, of course, Gary.
Yes.
And we've got to give the disclaimer. Any reuse, further broadcast of this show without the permission of Worthy Road Studios is prohibited. For the administration, for Hub City Deli, for the coaches, and for some outstanding guests, we want to say thanks for your time this time. Till next time, good night, all.